What's up, guys? Today we're gonna go over the Try Hack Me challenge, investigating with Splunk. So we're given this scenario here, and we asked to answer all of these questions. So the scenario is SOC analyst Johnny has observed some anomalous behaviors in the logs of a few Windows machines. It looks like the adversary has access to some of these machines and successfully created some backdoor. His manager has asked him to pull those logs from suspected hosts and ingest them into Splunk for quick investigation. So our tasks as a SOC analyst is to examine the logs and identify the anomalies. So we have this scenario here, and a couple of Windows machines have been compromised, and we need to find out what happened and how it happened. So we have access here to Windows event logs, and sysmon is also deployed. So let's jump right into Splunk here. So the first question is how many events were collected and ingested in the index main? So let's search for the index main. So index equal to main. So let's expand the time range to all time to get all of the relevant events. So we have 12,265. 12,265. So let's move to the next question. On one of the infected hosts, the adversary was successful in creating backdoor user. What is the new username? So to answer this question, we will be filtering by the event ID. So event ID is equal to 4720. And the event ID 4720 tracks user account management activities like adding or deleting or updating account. So here we have only one event here. So user account management. And we can see the username here is A1Berto. A1Bertos. So the attacker created this here, new user here, A1Berto. So on the same host, a registry key was also updated regarding the new backdoor user. What is the full path of that registry user? So to answer this question here, we will be filtering by sysmon event ID 13. So which track registry modification. So let's filter by the event ID 13 here. And we got a lot of events here. So to narrow this down here, let's filter by the newly created user A1 Berto. So now we got only one event here. You can see here set value for the registry key. And you can see the bus here, the full bus to the registry key. So this is the full bus registry key. So examine the logs and identify the user that the adversary was trying to impersonate. So to answer this question here, let's have a look at the all of the existing users. So we have 4 users here, and obviously the attacker is trying to impersonate the Alberto here. So the attacker replace the L with 1 here to avoid detection. So instead of Alberto, we have A1 Berto. So the attacker is trying to impersonate Alberto. So moving on to the next question. What is the command used to add a backdoor user from a remote computer? So let's filter here by the net user. So net user, we know that net user is used to add a user. So net user add. And we have 22 events. So to narrow this down, let me search only by the newly created user, which is A1 Berto. And A1 Berto. And we need to have a look at the command line field here because we know that the attacker executed a command remotely to add this user or to create this user. So we have command line here. So in the command line here, we can see the attacker utilized the WMIC. So WMIC is it's used to remotely execute commands. So you can see here WMIC, and he created add user. He created this user here, A1 Berto, and this is the password here. So let's move on to the next question. How many times was the login attempt from a backdoor user observed during the investigation? So to answer this question, so let's have a look at the event ID here. And let's see if there is any event ID that related to successful login or to failed login here. So we're looking specifically for event ID 4624 or 4625. And I don't see any one of these events here, events ID here. So let's try to use like A1 Berto and event ID is equal to 4624. And we got zero result here. So that the attacker did not try to log in using the newly created user here. So the answer here is zero. What is the name of the infected host on which suspicious PowerShell command we executed? So to answer this question, so we need to go back to command line. So let's search for A1 Berto. And let's go to command line and let's filter by this command line. And let's remove this here. And let's go to user here. Actually, we have two events here. So let's scroll down and we can see the user here, James Brownie. So we can see the command here that used to create the new backdoor user. And likely this account here is compromised. So the attacker gained access as James Brownie, and from there he created an account here, the A1 Bird, mm, to gain persistence here, to avoid detection and to gain persistence as well. So let's move to the next questions. And PowerShell login is enabled on this device. How many events were logged for the malicious PowerShell execution? So to answer this question here, so we will filter by using event ID. So event ID, event ID is equal to 4103. And this event ID tracks the PowerShell command execution or events. So we have here 79 events. 79. So next question is an encoded PowerShell script from the infected host initiated a web request. What is the full URL? So let's filter here by PowerShell. So let's type here PowerShell. And if we scroll down here, we can see an encoded script here or a command. So we need to decode this. So let's copy this. So let's copy this and let's navigate to CyberChef. So to decode this command. So let's get rid of this here. And let's get rid of this also here. And let's search here from base base 64. And the output is junk output here actually. So we need to decode this to text to in order to understand it. So let's decode text here. Decode text and let's choose UTF-16 LE. So the output is readable now. So if we scroll down here, we can see a user agent here. So besides the user agent here, we can see base64 string, and this looks like a URL here. So the attacker tried to access this here, this URL here, this path here, news.php. And let's copy this. Let's try to decode this again. Let's do the same process again to find out the URL. So let's paste this here, and here we can see the URL here. So, and it was slash news.php. So, but the question here is asking for a specific formula. So, an encoded PowerShell script from the infected host initiated a web request. What is the full URL? So, the hint is here to defang the URL in CyberChef. So, let's defang this URL here. So, let's copy this and let's try to defang the URL. Defang URL. And here is the final answer. Here is the final answer. So thank you guys for watching.